Been enjoying the sunshine a bit. I think we're going to cut this pork shoulder in half so you get a bit more surface area for searing it, and so it fits in the pressure cooker a little bit nicer too. You were out all day yesterday. It cooled back down today, so you're being lazy. Nice. Were you out like hiking and doing stuff like that? Rain with possible thunderstorms. What the heck, Gearbox man? Stay safe. Hubby's phone just wants to be on the stream with us, Mary. It's okay. Can't help it. Let me get this meat bin out. Okay, I also had an extra Italian sausage that we cooked for dinner earlier this week, but we didn't cook them all. I might put this into the ragu with the pork, so I'm going to leave that out. Also, I don't know if you guys can see back there, that pot cooked overnight, the asparagus, not tips, I guess the stalks that we trimmed off from all of our asparagus that we cooked yesterday, and then all of the trim from the tri-tip roast, cooked overnight, and then it's been cooking all this morning, so I thought maybe we would be able to strain that and use it either in the polenta or for the pork shoulder in the pressure pot. But yeah, that's going on back there. It's been smelling so good this morning. Flower, it's nice to see you. I hope you've been good. Lovely sunshine on the island yesterday. I'm like part of a working holiday in Canada group, and someone posted the other day about a job on the South Island, like working on their farm and stuff for the summer. Man, just brought me back all the good times we spent out there. Took the moto out all day and got your 20k mile service done for the spring. Nice, dude. Yeah, there is no way people could take their motorcycles out right now. There's so much gravel still on the road, it would be really dangerous if they did. Let me go grab a cutting board. Maybe I'll actually grab one from the dishwasher. It's all cleaned up from yesterday. Yeah, that'll do. That'll be better sized. Just don't want the juices to go everywhere. This pork shoulder is so cute. Let's switch this. I don't know if you guys ever call pork shoulders cute, but happens. And then Samo said he's gonna, this is another piece of pork shoulder, he's gonna make into schnitzel upcoming this week for us. There's that. So we'll see if we have to trim this up at all. Hopefully not. I'm going to open it up in the sink like I always do, just so that there's not too much juices everywhere. And then yeah, we'll get this searing in the pot. That might take a few minutes, but that will give us time to strain this broth that I have on the stove back there. The meat looks so nice and dark. Nice. Whoa. So that was $21, and then I think it was either like $4 or $5 off for the pack. So that was under $20 for 2.5 kilos. Let's see how she's looking. So this is where the shoulder blade bone usually sits, but they cleaned it out of there so nice, so that's good to see. And we'll always keep the fat cap on because that's just pure flavor, and we'll keep everything moist while it cooks. And yeah, there's not that much connective tissue to even clean off of the outside here, so I'm not even gonna bother. All we're going to do, I usually just kind of follow where this is split and then cut that there. This might go into 4 chunks, we'll see. And then we'll also kind of see the cross section here too. Nice. That's gonna be yummy. Nice marbling in between. Boss man, how's it going? Welcome in again. You're here nice and early. Okay, I see a little bit of connective tissue there. And same with this like kind of floppy, fatty parts here. So I am gonna take some of this out. Anything that I don't really want to eat later on anyways. Just get another stock pot going today for this trim. And I'll take some of this sinew out since I could see it easily and access it. But the one thing about pork shoulder is, yeah, you might be able to see some other connective tissue in between the muscles, but you don't really want to start taking all these muscles apart, especially if you're gonna braise it. It will cook very weird if you do that. What's this here? I might clean that out too. Any nice and like white and hard fat is okay to keep on, but if it's really like stringy and rubbery feeling, I usually try to clean it out. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna take this flap off though, I think. Try and cut as close to the other muscle as possible, and then maybe we'll just cut right down to keep it kind of squared up. So that's a good chunk. And then this will just cut in half. That's another good chunk. And then we just have this miscellaneous piece, which maybe I'll clean this up even a bit more now since it's easy to see. So we'll do that. We'll keep that yummy fat on. And then I'll clean this. I don't have to like take all of the fat off completely, but that really took a lot of that stringy stuff off. Okay, there's actually like a little bit of bone there. Sometimes that happens when you're doing butchery and your knife is actually too sharp. It can be a problem. Your knife is too sharp, and then you'll nick into the bone by accident. Okay, done with that. I'm going to just kind of lay these out because we're going to season them before we sear it. I'll do like that side, the biggest surface area. And then those. And then let's read the recipe. See if they do a special seasoning on the pork at all. Or if we're going to make our own little rub of sorts. Hi, they can see me. Sorry, I was in Porkland there for a sec, guys. Yeah, we're doing good, boss man. Excited for more snackies. Nice to be in the kitchen cooking again this weekend. Those chunks look good. Okay, pork ragu with creamy polenta. You're mesmerized by the meat? Pork ragu, it says 3 pounds of boneless pork shoulder. And they actually did cut it into 3 pieces. That's funny. I wasn't even trying. They did a bit of salt and pepper. Okay, so that's it. And then they just flavor the tomato ragu more instead. And I will say, if you are gonna pressure cook the pork for this recipe, smarter to not use any sugar inside of your rub if you do a rub other than salt and pepper, just so that it doesn't burn as that reduces in there. That would be sad. Did we go out last weekend? Last weekend we drove to the mountains, to the Rocky Mountains. We did a loop through Canmore, Banff, and then up back through Jasper and home. It was awesome. The weather was amazing. We went on a hike to a canyon with waterfalls, Johnston Canyon. We were just in our hoodies for the middle of winter. That's pretty awesome. I think we might go back in a few weeks though. Like next week or weekend is my birthday. I want to see some people that I haven't seen in a little bit this year. And then maybe the weekend after that we'll go back if the weather's still nice. We shall see. Okay, that's a good start on this seasoning. We don't have to go too crazy at this step, but as long as you get a bit of salt and pepper on there for sure. We can season it more though when it cooks with the ragu a bit later. But the salt and pepper always makes a really nice, flavorful crust when it's seared up, so don't skip that step. If you wanted to take a bit more time to make this recipe, you could make this all in one pot. Also another reason why I first made this recipe is because you don't make that much dishes. So everything just braises either on the stovetop or in the oven. Okay, let's get the pressure pot out and then we'll come over and do some cooking. Dig it out. Like, will all this meat even fit in here? I think just. Plus, once it's seared, it shrinks up a bit too, so that's good. She's gonna be a full pot. And then we want to make sure we got a big pot for the ragu, because all the pork is going to go into there. Let's get this turned on. We'll put a little bit of cooking fat in the bottom. While it's heating up, I think we'll do like a medium-high heat. This is the lid. Let's get some tongs. I did have some beef tallow that I skimmed off of the top of this stock over here this morning, so I think I'll just use that to sear. Spoonful of that. Yum. It's like gold. Do you guys ever do that? You skim off your fats from when you make broths or stocks and then use it to cook with? I find it so flavorful when you do that. And then you also don't spend as much money on other cooking oils and stuff like that. You didn't realize you could do that? Yeah, so I've had this stock back here in the pot cooking overnight. It will mostly just render out like a bit of beef flavor and some fat from it because there wasn't any meat or bones really. It was just trim from the tri-tip and then some asparagus. But yeah, the fat from it, I just spooned and ladled it off of the top layer because the fat always rises. And I like to cook with the beef tallow. It's got a nice high smoke point. We're gonna switch this up a bit. We're gonna go higher so we can see in the pot when we're cooking. There we go. That's heating. Got the pork on our board over here. Yum. All seasoned up. And then like I said, while this is searing, so we'll have to do only a couple pieces at a time, we'll strain this stock. So I'll turn this off. I usually try to get about 2 liters worth of broth or stock when I make it. I like to drink it sometimes in the morning before breakfast with some ginger grated into it. It's supposed to be really good for your digestive system. How did your tri-tip turn out? It turned out so good. Like Samo actually said, I made a 10 out of 10 home cooked meal yesterday. It made me so happy. That was my first time I really cooked it kind of on my own. So I was quite impressed. I really liked the rub that we put on, as well as the searing up the fat cap after. It got so yummy and crispy. Okay, so we're gonna start putting a couple chunks in because it's getting a bit smoky. You can tell it's hot. Nice. That's the sound we want. Got another one. So we just want to brown as many sides as we can of these pieces. I'll even be able to fit this little chunk on the side here because that's going to create flavor. I'm going to go grab a strainer and a couple containers. Because that'll take a few minutes on each side before we turn it. How were the Rice Krispie bars yesterday? Really good too. I had one at like 8:30 p.m. I think. I was feeling a little bit snacky. They're so yummy. Okay, so see how you can't really move this? It's stuck. So don't even try to. I'm going to take this pot away now. I'll show you the color of the broth once it's strained. Add. I usually try to skip them when we're chatting. What's happening, Blondie? I hope you're doing good. The broth looks so nice and golden in color. I didn't really expect that. It smells like nutty. I'm very intrigued by this asparagus beef broth. Look at that. Like, whoa. So I'm going to pour some of this into there for when it braises. Let's see, because I can smell some stuff possibly getting crispy. Yeah. Can we flip this? So not really browned yet. I don't think I'm gonna flip it over. We can go way more. Might also need a bit more fat. It smells so good, yeah. Even Sam was saying, like, what the heck? I did not expect it to smell that good. I thought the asparagus was gonna turn it like a really gross color. But it didn't. So it might not be the most like amazing of broths, but we still repurpose something that maybe most people would throw in the garbage. So better than nothing. Okay, now let's see. Nice. I don't even know if all this pork's gonna fit in here, honestly. We'll see once we sear up that other chunk how much we can pack it in there together. Yeah, there's not that much fat on these first couple pieces, so I'm gonna just do a little bit more tallow in with it. Is anyone else cooking today? It's Sunday. Usually like a family dinner day or Sunday roast sort of meals. Especially in the winter. In the summer, maybe not as extravagant because it's too hot to cook. Okay, so while this is searing, some other ingredients, also just a read through of this recipe a bit. She says this pork ragu is the food equivalent of sliding into cozy pajamas and curling up in front of a fire with a glass of red wine. There is red wine in the recipe. I'm not going to put it in today, but man, it makes it so good. I will say that. I have made it with the wine before. Whoa! Makes it feel like rich, right? Gonna make eggs and breakfast sausage. Yum! I love breakfast on the weekends. Dun, dun, dun. She says the recipe is unbelievably easy. Let the pork ragu simmer on the stove till it practically falls apart. So I'm doing it the quick way, but yeah, the way that she does it, it's a one-pot wonder. Put away the air fresheners because this will make your house smell good. Heck, even your whole yard will smell good. I love it. Smell up the whole neighborhood. So 6 servings. It is Italian cuisine. And the recipe is inspired from the Bon Appetit one, but I wasn't sure if they still had a paywall up for some of their recipes. I hate when you go to see it and it's like, you can't view this unless you pay a subscription every month to us. And it's like, what? You used to always give us free recipes, though. Okay, this little chunker is good. I'll try and get this other piece in. Because they are shrinking up a bit, so maybe we will not have to worry at all. Okay, so we got the pork shoulder, salt, pepper, and oil. We'll need onion and garlic. I'm not doing tomato paste, but you can if you want. I'm just going to do the can of tomatoes. We're going to do a bit of stock instead of the wine, because I know not everyone cooks with alcohol. Some herbs. Thyme, rosemary, and bay leaf. I'm going to just put a handful of Italian seasoning blend and some bay leaves because I really like that blend that we have. And then, yeah, she links the polenta with it. So I'll go grab some of those ingredients while this finishes searing up. And also, this is one of my favorite times on the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it would change to 1, 2, 3, 5. Onion, garlic from here. And the onion and garlic is really easy to prep for this sort of dish. Roughly chop it up and you're good to go. The garlic will probably just smash. Smash and peel. We're gonna put it just over here, because after this pork is cooking, we're gonna switch to the dessert really quick. How's this going? Nice. Okay, so that little bit more fat really helps. Try and get all this side. Destroy the stovetop. Okay, we got the onion, garlic. I'll go grab the can of tomatoes and our herbs. So we'll use that. And then we got these. That should be really flavorful. How's this other chunk doing? Okay, flip that over. All of those are almost done, and then we just have one more big chunk to finish up there. For the polenta, guys, it's gonna be milk and some chicken stock, which I do have in the fridge, so we can use that. Homemade, and then some, they said coarse polenta, but I don't think it matters that much. I always use the same polenta. I'll show you what it is. Nice, Mary. You had your hubby pick up Rice Krispie cereal so that you can make the treats that we made yesterday on stream for him later in the week. And then just some butter and some cheese. We're actually gonna do Gouda cheese in the polenta today. We'll grate some up because we have that to use up in the fridge, in the cheese drawer. I think that will be delicious. And then maybe just some chopped parsley at the end. Bay leaves are honestly one of the ingredients I don't fully understand. I've only found them useful for making pickles. They're great for like things that will cook for a longer period of time, let's say. Not really necessary for short cooking because I feel like maybe the flavor wouldn't get imparted unless you have fresh ones. But yeah, bay leaf, unless you use like a couple leaves, you won't really taste it too much. You're right, Eric. But at the same time, I feel like there's always something missing if we don't use them. Let go. Get that browning. Yum. Look at those chunkers. Okay, going to grab our polenta, or I don't call it polenta usually, I call it cornmeal. And then the dish that we make is called polenta. But this one actually does look a little bit coarse. This is what Samo wrote for the label for us. So this is almost actually a year old. Well, half a year old. So yeah, if we open up the lid, that's how it looks. So not the finest, but also not like super coarse. If you are gonna choose a coarser cornmeal, I really like the Bob's Red Mill one. I've used that in the past, and it even works good if you want like a bit extra crunch in your cornbread for that. How's this chunk? Nice. Like turn it on its side. There we go. We are building up so much flavor. Spicy bay leaves? How is that even possible? They would have to put like extra spice on the outside or something. Okay, let's get ready to switcheroo this stuff. Beautiful. Did I have one more side on this one still? And then let's go boom right there. Nice. Look at this. Cookie! Happy Sunday to you. How are you doing? I'm gonna wash up my hands. And now we're gonna line the baking pan that we're gonna use to make the Blondie bars next. Just keep kind of working along as we're waiting for this to sear. Oh, I don't know why I brought the foil. I really just needed parchment. Hello. Ouch. The parchment box got me a bit. Evil. Another Traeger? What the heck are you talking about, Neil? I don't see no Traegers in sight. But welcome. Parchment box. Oh, like you're saying because we use foil to wrap things that come off of the Traeger, maybe? Yes, yeah, yesterday we prepped the meat for the Traeger, it's true. Do, do, do. Should we check out this other chunk? It's probably good. Yeah. Sizzling. Now this other one, I just turned down the burner a little bit. Now that we have less in the pot. And that pot around a little bit too. Like that way. Just so the sun doesn't get too dark on the one side, you'll see. Oh yeah, Maillard reaction. That's how we get the most flavor. Like really on anything, but I would say especially for meats, if you're gonna braise them, do not skip the searing step. Yeah, we'll deglaze with our stock after this one is finished searing. And then stuff everything else back in there and start to pressurize it. So there's quite a bit of butter in these Blondie bars. I'm not going to spray the pan for it being non-stick. I don't think it's necessary because I've never had them stick once. Check this. Nice. Look at that piece. From the car wash? Hello? That's what we have to do as well, Lauren. Gonna wait for the rest of the snow to melt first this week. And then it's car wash time. I hate how dirty the car gets in the winter. It's so gross. Guys, I'm so excited for the Blondie Bars today. We found Nestle Toll House Butterscotch chips at Walmart this week. Toll House is not usually a brand that we can find here. So we're like, what the heck? We're totally trying them. I think we'll go a little bit more on that side. Maybe we'll see. Do this. Bay leaf joint cleanse recipe. 5 grams of bay leaf, boil in water, pour in a thermos, steep for 3 to 4 hours. Whoa. It's gonna rain on Wednesday, Bonk. This one review on the Blondie Bars. I made these amazing blondies yesterday for the second time in a week and a half. It's just me and my husband, but we managed to polish them off in record time. They're amazingly yummy with morning coffee. This recipe is definitely taking the #1 spot at the front of my best online cookie cookbook that I've compiled. Nice. It's seriously the best. You're gonna try the recipe with the bay leaves just to see, Mary? Okay. Let us know how it goes. If you notice a difference, the feeling of your joints. We'll do this one last side. Kind of lean it on the side of the pot on a weird angle. We're gonna go grab our big bin of flour and a few other dry ingredients that we're gonna need. We're almost at the next step. It was like trying to tell if it's smoky in here or not. I mean, I have the fan on. I don't think it's smoky. Maybe a little bit. Okay, last side. We really went all out there on the searing of this. It's gonna like taste so good. Okay, we need baking powder, brown sugar, vanilla. Get the salt off so it doesn't go rusty, Lauren. Nice. Okay. There's quite a bit of fat down there, but I'm gonna try to pack all of this yummy pork into this pot now, and then I'll pour in the stock just so it doesn't splash up too much. I don't think this other small chunk is gonna fit. Let's see. Kinda pushing it. But if anything, I'll just throw it into the pot with the tomato ragu. And we'll still just let it cook slowly that way. I'm not gonna waste it. Okay, so our homemade stock that we just strained. Whoa. So crazy. Now, I think I'll keep this on medium heat actually. I poured about an inch worth of liquid into the bottom of this. Do a little bit more just to see it even out. You guys see that? And that should be good for it to braise. And so we're just gonna braise it simply with the salt and pepper. And then the rest of the flavorings will come later. Let's just combine the last bit of that. And now I'm gonna put the lid on, because this is already bubbling away. And let it start to pressurize, and that's gonna go for an hour. We'll go high pressure. And then we're not gonna set our timer for that until the steam is coming out of the pressure hole. Nice. So all of the hard parts are complete. Literally the hardest part of the day. I'm gonna wash my hands because it feels like there's a bit of pork fat on them after all of that. And I'll wipe the cutting board because there's some seasoning. And then I guess I'll turn on the oven so it can preheat for our dessert to bake. And then we'll roll into that. Because it'll probably take longer to preheat the oven than it will for us to make these blondie bars. I think there is a like optional extra step for these bars if you want to brown the butter instead of just melting the butter. So it just make it a bit more nutty if you did that. But then you have to do a bit of stovetop cooking. Okay, so just reading through while we're waiting on that to come up. I'll keep my eye on it. Because usually when it starts to come up to pressure, I'll turn down the heat a little bit. I don't need it rocking hot. Okay, so dense and chewy bars made with brown butter, sea salt, butterscotch morsels. Sweet and salty, hits the spot when you need a simple yet satisfying dessert. Remember the first time we made these on the island and they were part of our dessert for Food for Friends that weekend? Paul went nuts for them. So it's one of his favorite desserts that we make. So we're going to send some to him with the funfetti Rice Krispies that we made yesterday. And I think maybe some more chocolate peanut butter balls. Because both Samo and myself, we each only got, I think, 2 or 3 out of like the 200 that we made at Christmas time. So we have all the ingredients for that still. So we're going to make a batch. But that is not on stream. Okay. So preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. And yeah, you don't want to go too high when you bake these, just with all the butter and sugar inside. You don't want it to get too dark because it will start to taste like a bit burnt, right? I might go up to 360 just because I know my oven bakes a bit cooler, but I definitely wouldn't go to 400 Fahrenheit. And so they do 9-inch square pan. So same thing as yesterday. We'll double up the recipe to fit our big baking pan. So I feel like a 9-inch square pan of desserts is not nearly enough. Whisk the flour, baking powder, and salt together in a bowl. I'll probably not do that step and then just add those ingredients into the wet stuff. So then in a bowl, whisk your melted butter and brown sugar, whisk in your eggs and vanilla, and then pour your dry into that. And then you just fold in the butterscotch chips. You have optional if you want to add nuts to this. I've never, but you can do walnuts, it says, or I'm sure pecans would be good too. And then it's really important just to have these nice and moist, still not get too dry or crumbly. Don't over bake them. You can almost kind of under bake them, like how you do cookies if you want to keep them chewy. And then yeah, it says they'll keep at room temperature or the fridge for a week. And I will say, yeah, with the amount of sugar and stuff in there, that is accurate. And you can also freeze them. Okay, so let's get some bowls out and I'll go grab the rest of the ingredients. And it sounds like that's actually starting to come up. So we'll switch back there. So right now, the steam is actually coming more through here. So there's a little red piece of silicone that will pop up and that like locks the pressure in. And then from there, we'll start to have the steam come out here, which controls the pressure that's in the pot. But yeah, really important that this closes up, otherwise you'll just continuously have the steam leaving. That's not pressurized at all. Okay, we still need the butterscotch chippies, and I think actually that's it. I got everything else over here. Yum, oh yum. We've never seen these before in our life. Whoa, there's like a bit of moisture dripping from the handle. Trying to understand why. Don't worry, you guys, it's just the sound of the steam dripping on the burner. Samo, I don't understand what's happening here. I will say though, guys, okay, sometimes this lid has been giving me trouble. It finally popped up, so we're good. Just the sound of it hitting the burner, that was scary. They're there in California. And we saw them at Walmart. And we were like, holy smokes, we gotta try these. And they were actually cheaper than the regular brand. Which is what, Nestle?
That's Nestle.
Hershey? Who's in California? These Toll House butterscotch chips that are delicious. Okay, let's get a bowl. We just got Sneeze McGee over here again. Bless you. Hey. I'm only saying what's accurate to be true. It's not true. Okay, so we're still waiting for that pot to pressurize. I got a bowl out for our bars. We need a literal entire pound of butter. Glad I bought it. And then we need 2 eggs and 2 yolks. You know Ghirardelli is San Fran? Nice, that's all the eggs we have left. And we need some salt as well as Maldon salt. And then we just need a melting apparatus for the butter. C's Candies. I remember actually seeing those there. That was for Annie, for sure. You're not boycotting US products? I am. So many people checking labels at the grocery store. Like certain things I am. Fruits and stuff like that. But like honestly, I don't really get involved in political stuff like that. Like there has to be a certain point that I can just live my life without being like, oh, I can use this, but I can't use that. Oh, this is a right soap. This is a bad thing. But I understand what you're saying, Flower. I did get excited to see that there's lots of fruit options and stuff from elsewhere. But I don't know. I have a lot of friends in the States, so can't really comment on that. What are we gonna melt this in? Maybe this. It's still not pressurizing? Is this thing gonna blow up or what?
Is it not?
It's just getting there, I think. Also, I want to comment, like, as being a chef, I like to try new things all the time. Sometimes I can't help where those things come from. And as I'll always say, if those things don't sit right with you guys, you don't have to agree with anything that I say. That is okay with me. You got friends too, right? Little baby kittens, you're always impressed with my kitchen organization and cleaning habits. Thank you. That is a really important part. Like, when you go to culinary school, you're not even really allowed to work in the kitchen and do cooking stuff until you pass your food safety and sanitation course. So I'm really glad that they hold that to a high standard, because it is like the most important thing. You never want to make yourself or somebody else sick from food. So the other thing that I've learned working in lots of kitchens over the years is, like, if you stay on top of stuff and always keep it organized and clean, it's not annoying to upkeep that. But when you let things go and get messy, that's when it gets a little bit daunting to be like, oh, it's such a big task to clean the pantry now. Okay, this is working. You guys saw our little steam spout here. So now we can set the 1 hour timer for us to check it. And that will equate to 2 hours of actual cooking time. That's what a pressure cooker does, is cuts that time in half. A lot of people like to use these when they make stocks or broths at home, because those often take like hours. Usually I do 24 hours cooking. So I learned from one of the sous chefs that I worked alongside with, he usually did 1.5 hours pressurized cooking bones for broth, and that would take everything out that you needed, all the collagen. Toll House is owned by Nestle? Yes. That's a whole other issue. Yes, it is. Okay, so other than kind of just controlling this temp, I'll turn it down a bit. I think I usually go like 3. So kind of medium low heat. And you'll be able to tell by the sound and look of the steam. We want a nice, even steam spout, but it doesn't have to be going like really crazy sound. That's when it gets a little bit scary for me. Go a little bit higher still. And then we should be good. Okay, so let's start by melting some butter. We'll come over here and get these blondies going. Now that that is cooking together in the pot, it smells really good. 1 entire pound of butter. Is this even gonna be a big enough bowl then? 1 pound of butter, 4 cups of flour. Holy shit, I think we need the bigger bowl. Good thing I checked. We use this white one that's just a little bit larger. The little mark from the stainless bowl sitting on the plastic. Okay, so let's do, I'll probably do like 40-second increments at a time on the butter. And then they said our first step, I think, is to mix it with our brown sugar. It's like, what? 2 1/4 cups of brown sugar. That's so much. She also does give gram increments, so if you just want to use a scale, you could do that too. But this is going to get pretty heavy. So I'll just use the measuring cups. And she says the light or dark brown sugar is okay, so use whatever you feel. Okay, that's not melted at all. Let's keep going the same amount of time. And I just do 40 seconds at a time because if you've ever exploded butter when you've tried to melt it in the microwave, you'll only do that once and then learn your lesson. So just don't go too long at a time and it won't explode and do scary things. 'Cause that's just annoying to clean all the fat up after. Almost there, it looks like. Maybe another 20 seconds. And so we already have our oven heating up for these bars because they take no time at all to mix up. And then once the bars go in the oven, we'll get the tomato ragu cooking on the stove and then finish up with the rest of our side dishes then. There we go. I think I'll measure out the sugar first though. Always pack your brown sugar. Fun. We'll do this one 3/4 and then the same thing. So because it's just brown sugar in the recipe, that's why these also stay really nice and chewy. It's the white sugar in baking recipes that make things more crunchy. And then the brown sugar will keep it chewy. And yeah, we got our stale piece of bread in there somewhere. Probably get a whisk for these first steps. Yeah, I guess, hey Bonk, it's the molasses, really, that keeps it soft. Because that's really the only difference from brown to white sugar. Because I've made it before here at home. It's literally that easy. You just mix white sugar with molasses until you're happy with the darkness or lightness of it. You can make it really dark. You can keep it light like this. I remember that this doesn't really mix in this step. Not until we add the eggs. So if it looks like this, don't worry. I'm gonna grab a container for the eggs. Ruh-roh. Not looking that good. So it said 2 whole eggs and then 2 yolks. Because we're doubling this. Whoa, that's nice and orange. I'll crack them into here so I can get just the yolks out. Nice. Into the bin. Definitely wipe up this egg yolk or egg white. I hate when that happens. You crack open the shell. Bunch of egg whites sploots out. LoJack, you made some baguettes this morning for the first time. They were all right. Any tips to make them better? Baguettes, I would say, don't be afraid to really work the dough and get the gluten structure quite firm. And then I like my baguettes really nice and crusty, so I usually bake them at a very high temp. And then if you need any help with the shape, how I started learning how to do baguettes is you can buy a baguette pan that will help you out with that. I've not made a ton of baguettes in my life. I've never just worked solely as a bread baker. I've always been more of a pastry chef and done desserty things and just baking at home. But I hope that helps. You can link the recipe, not here because you're not subscribed, so you might get kicked out of chat. It's like an auto mod setting for links. But if you're in our Discord, share the recipe link and maybe I'll be able to see what went wrong. What were you unhappy with? Those eggs are beautiful. Holy smokes. It's been a while since we had nice dark yolks like that. But see how like instantly you add the egg and it starts to emulsify. Thanks for putting that up, Bonk, the Discord link. So I usually try to mix this until it's really evenly mixed before we go to the next step. Nice, and our oven is ready whenever we are. Just keep going round and round. I suppose you could use a mixer for that step. Might go a bit quicker, but look at how this turns into like caramel now, hey? So that's what I'm usually looking for. So nice and smooth, there's no sugar granules left. They were too crusty and crunchy, but baguettes are supposed to be, you guess? Yeah, it is true. I guess there's a couple different varieties of baguettes, but if you chose a very strictly French recipe, it's going to be quite crusty and dry. You feel so hamstrung using the phone app, Bonk? You're like, I can't do this anymore. Okay, we got our butter, sugar, and eggs. We need our vanilla, and then just the flour, baking powder, and salt. It's so easy. Nice, Mary. We were gonna go for a walk yesterday, but then I read some unsettling news on our local Reddit page about our area. About some crazy stuff that was going on the other night. I decided to not go for a walk. Drew Docs, welcome in. We're doing good. Thanks for popping by today. And Gearbox Man, thanks for the 50 bitlies. You had to make a caramel base for something you were making last year. Had no idea what you were doing. The stuff went insta-brick in the pot. Had to boil some water just to get it out. Yes. Yeah. And then it's always way worse. Like, this happened in my culinary class when someone cooks the caramel so far to the point where it looks like bubbling lava that's black in the pot. I'm pretty sure we had to throw that pot out. We couldn't even scrub it out of there. It was insane. I've never seen sugar turn back into carbon. Okay. We need 4 cups of flour. We'll do the flour layer first. And actually now we're going to switch from the whisk to a spatula. I want that one. I think I want this other one in here that we used yesterday. You didn't take it that far. It was so nuts. But yeah, caramel is a fickle entity. I've used a few different recipes over the years, and I think one of my favorite ones is actually Sally's Baking Addiction. The way that she did it seemed odd at first, but then, yeah, once I made the recipe, it worked so good. So had 0 complaints. I gotta get my big flour bin over here. Ten smoky malt scouts. Nice. I'll accept the bitlies. I appreciate that, friend. Caramel. Are you saying because some people say caramel? I've never. So 4 cups of flour, guys. So we're doing a big old pan. Whoa, bonk. You got some chilly weather, hey? Are you liking it, though? Is that a good change from where you're from? 1 more cup. I gotta use up this flour bin in the next, like, month or 2. Not that much. If you give it a shake, kind of even it back out. Scoops. Oh, nice. Smoky malt scoops. Like ice cream? You're loving that area? It does intrigue me from what I've seen. I think I would really like it because I like green and mountains and stuff. Okay, that's that. We need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. It'll help them rise a little bit so they're not just like dense sugar flour and butter. But it won't make them too puffy. How often should you be going through your flour? I would say for sure yearly. If you buy like 1 bag of flour, try to go through that within the year. But I think they say most grains that are milled, so flour, they really start to depreciate in flavor after around 6 months. But then if you leave the grain whole, like I don't know if you were here yesterday when we were talking about the farro grains and I showed them, those will last no problem up to a year. And that way you can still mill them after and it will taste okay. What you need, my love. There's lots of good snacks in there. They're stacked up. You still have some pandemic hoarding flour. I mean, like I said, it might affect the like nutrition quality of it, but definitely taste it if you're unsure. Cause yeah, grains, nuts, seeds, they can all go rancid on us. But most grains, I would say, don't have a very high fat content where they'll go bad as fast as like a seed or a nut. Okay, our salt. This is not optional. We need an entire teaspoon of salt.
We had a pandemic.
And then we'll do sea salt flakes on the top for garnish. And now we'll stir most of this up before we put our chippies in. Your bread machine consumes all the flour. I have seen that, Eric. Yeah, a lot of young people have been buying bread machines, or like younger folks our age, to help them just make bread at home and eat more bread because it's so expensive from the store now and a lot of it is not nutritious for us. So yeah, if you're wary about making your own bread, just buy a bread maker, right, Samuel? That's how you started when you were like how old?
Wow.
He doesn't even know, he says.
We got my mom a Black & Decker.
He says he got his mom a Black & Decker bread maker. What was the type you usually make? Just sandwich bread?
Oh, everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
How long would it take? Like the kind of same 3 hours or so?
Yeah, about that. Like we make honey walnut bread.
Mmm.
And
Whoa, look at this thing of flour.
regular sandwich bread.
It's like magic.
Sourdough.
So bread makers are good for like mixing and stuff to breads.
Oatmeal raisin.
Ooh, I love oatmeal raisin bread. With peanut butter?
Cheddar cheese bread.
Yes, please. Okay, see how this is getting shaggy and coming together slowly? So this is where we're gonna stop and measure out our butterscotch bitties. You need the flake salt bunk. Yeah, it saves you such like a lot of work, kneading, proofing and stuff. Dump it in and walk away and it'll beep when it's done like the freaking laundry machine, dishwasher, everything else does for us. Okay, 1.5 cups of morsels, so we need around 3 cups of chippies. Do we have this? Oh shit! It was really popped open. Whoa! We need 3 cups. There might be a bit left. 1 bag was 2 cups. So we'll have 1 extra cup. Did you like that? Watch out. Watch out. Snooze the ad. I don't want him anymore. Good to go. Does she say put some of these on the top? Let's see before we pour them all. No, she just says fold in the morsels. Sounds good to me. Bobby G1G, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Imagine You mean it probably exists in Asia somewhere? Just like a cheesecake making machine. They have everything else there. Like the auto stir fry units. Yes, please. Vending machine soups. Like, we don't have nothing here compared to them. Is this even gonna mix in, guys? It looks crazy. Gotta like press the chips in. You were lurking? We always appreciate our lurkers, but thanks for actually taking a moment to say hey. How long have you lurked here on the channel? Or is this your first day finding us? First day? That's amazing. Well, welcome. We are living in the Canadian prairies. So it is winter time here, but it's been really nice outside, so it kind of feels like spring already. We can't make humans feel useless. Trust me, the amount of robots in the food industry, I'm surprised that like chefs still have a job. I know a lot of other industries and trades have a lot of like AI help now too though, so it's not just us. Did you see my spatula bending? Sometimes I'm wary of using a wooden spoon. I've broken a few over the years. And this batter's really thick. But we got there, bonk. Also, you kind of just have to like press the chips into it. It feels nice once you actually get it starting to mix. Okay, so now we'll pour this in. And like, this is gonna be huge. You'll see. There's quite a bit of weight to this, honestly, right now. Pour this in, spread it out nice and even. Look, there was a little bit of dry stuff underneath. Whoa. Done. These are so sweet. Honestly, you have to have a sweet tooth to enjoy this. Otherwise, some people might be like, this is crazy, this dessert. But I grew up really loving like butterscotch pudding cups. So I love the flavor of these. Let's try and scrape this off now and see if we can spread it out a bit better. Without the parchment paper moving around too much. See? It's like cement. The smell when these start baking, whoa. Because yeah, the butter inside really starts to like get nutty. Okay, now I'm just evening out how it looks for depth or height in the pan. We'll go finish up at this corner. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I think the heat will spread it out the rest of the way. We can get it into the oven. But let's not forget our sea salt first. Because yeah, these make a little bit of a like crunchy top when we bake them, like how brownies do. So if you go to put the sea salt on after it's baked, it's not gonna stick at all. What's the objective difference between caramel and butterscotch? I can never figure it out. Does caramel have a cream in it? And I think butterscotch only has sugar and butter. Whoa, I really salted up that corner. That will be my tester piece. Caramel has vanilla. But yeah, most caramel recipes always have whipping cream in them at the end where you add it. And I've never usually done that for butterscotch. Butterscotch is a more like brown sugar and butter melted together, where caramel is white sugar that's been caramelized. Okay, that looks good, guys. So now it's gonna go into the oven. She says 30 to 35 minutes. So I think I'll set a 20-minute timer to check on them. Because this is a larger pan, it might take a bit longer to bake. Look at that big salt chunk though. Wow. Yum. And then we have, actually, maybe I'll just roll with this timer. There's 30-minute timer on the pork. So it only took us 30 minutes to make this. 30 minutes to make it, and then probably 30 minutes or so to bake it. So I'll roll with that. I'm going to put away a few of these ingredients from the dessert, and then we'll get into our ragu. Put our chippies away. We're crushing it, Michael. Okay, so I'll need a pot for our ragu. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, so caramel is made with white sugar that you have to caramelize. Butterscotch is made with brown sugar, which is molasses, I guess, flavor, right? So they are different. But yeah, we see the words like used interchangeably quite often. So it's like, is there even a difference? Well, now we know that there is. Okay. So we are going to take a pot. Remember I said big enough to hold the pork. Once it's been pressure cooked and the tomato and everything. And then we're gonna make our tomato base in this. Marry it all together. I'll switch our pressure pot over here. We do have to chop up onion, garlic, before we start cooking. Just let that burner heat up a second before I switch them. Yeah, I guess the difference, right, between butterscotch and caramel is the molasses. Who would have known? Okay, that should keep going there. Beautiful. This is so easy. It is really starting to smell yummy too. The porky smells coming out of the pressure cooker now. Whoa, that piece of garlic is completely rotted. I always get freaked out when that happens. Okay, we're not gonna use the whole onion. I think just half will be enough. The peel's already coming off. Sounds good, I guess. We'll still take this other bit off though. And now we'll smash our garlic. Way easier to peel that way. The recipe said 6 garlic cloves actually, so we did a little bit more than that. We know the rules here. This is an interesting garlic clove. It's like there's a clove growing inside of its own self. Okay. We got questions. We're not gonna go there today. The garlic's growing garlic. Mutant garlic. Hitchhiker clove? Totally, Mary. Just sneaking on in there. Okay, clear all this off. Sticky, sticky garlics. It really was bonk. A garlicception of sorts. This we're just going to, I think, cut 3 or 2 times across. We got 3 chunks, and then just do nice little diced pieces of onion. Because this is going to get sauteed with the garlic first. And because they're the same size, the garlic's not sliced or minced, we can cook that together. Rinse the sticky bits off of the knife. And I should have saved some of that pork fat from the pressure pot when we were searing it to cook this stuff. But I'll just use some more of that beef tallow. So now we can come back over to the stove. Can you guys hear the hiss of the pressure cooker in the background? More tallow, because why not? And then gotta get our chicken broth out as well. We have our canned tomatoes to open still. And then just some bay leaf and Italian herbs. Oh, and I brought out this Italian sausage because I'm going to crumble that up and put it into it, I think. A sausage and a pork shoulder ragu. It's almost like a Sunday gravy. This pot is already hot because that burner was hot from the pressure cooker. So we can put our onion and garlic in. Ouch. It splashed on my wrist a bit. Be careful. Gotta go even higher up for this. There. Can actually see in. Okay, let's stir this. Get it all coated with the fat. And then that'll take a few moments to brown up. Same way that we seared the pork earlier, we're basically going to sear the veggies off first now. I'm going to work on taking this sausage out of the casing. Smells so good already in here. Whoa. I don't know how the smell is gonna change when we start to smell the butterscotch bars. That might be interesting. Okay, so I got the sausage out of the casing, just kind of breaking it up into small pieces. So we can fry the sausage up once the onion and garlic is browned a little bit. Put everything together in the pot. This is an extra step I'm taking. Use up the Italian sausage in the Italian dish. Smell the garlic browning. We'll have to give that a stir. Nice. Maybe even add that sausage to it right now at the rate that this is browning already. Nice. That was a good call. Really smash it nice and small pieces for the sausage. Okay. We gotta open up our can of tomatoes. Let's do that. And so these are whole tomatoes, just in juice. But I like the ragu nice and chunky. So a lot of times I'll just break them apart with my hands. Cook all that moisture out. Gonna get that extra onion half wrapped up. The smells are really insane. Sausage chunks. Yummo. I put quite a bit of pepper on the pork shoulder, so I don't think I'm gonna add too much pepper to this tomato mixture. So the next one that we can kind of prep while we're waiting for this stuff to finish is we need a steamer basket and pot set up for our broccolini side. So that just needs some water in it. That's easy. And then for our polenta, I might actually have to dig out the pot that we had the stock in earlier. Was kind of laughing at the menus this weekend. It was like yesterday was all oven stuff, and then today is mostly all stovetop. I always get jealous of some of the streamers that have a 6-burner stove. Like some days I could really use that. Nice, okay. This is starting to brown up a bit. Get that fond, and then we can deglaze it with the stock. Mish. It's a Mishers. How's your weekend been? How did everyone like the chocolate pie that you made? Okay, we're gonna put our herbs in and then deglaze this and then get our tomatoes in. So some Italian seasonings, herbies, 2 bay leaves. Whoa, did you see that thing fly up? Holy. Chocolate yummy dessert, please. What the heck is that? I'm gonna save the rest of that for our polenta broth. Yum. Okay, let's stir this as it's coming back up now. With the depth of color that we just built up from just sausage, onions, and garlic. I'll get our tomatoes in. I'm also gonna stick these other 2 little pork pieces in that didn't fit in the pressure cooker. The chocolate pie was a success. Kim has 3 pieces. Yes. So he is doing okay then. I'm glad to hear it. Finally get the cutting board out of the way. Okay, just gonna move you guys over for a moment. So I gotta get some tomato into here. I'll usually just like pick up the whole tomato from the can and then just rip it apart with my hands. You can get 6 of these San Marzano cans from Costco for, I think it's $11. So it's actually under $2 per can, which I think is a steal of a deal for how good a quality this is. If I think back to the price of tomatoes from the just regular store, which I don't buy anymore, even for my clients I buy these other cans. I think each tomato can's around $3 or $4 now. I remember when that stuff was like 4 cans for $4 sales, stuff like that. Not anymore. If there is, I'll show you on this one, some skin on your whole tomato still, make sure you take that off because it really doesn't cook down any softer. It just gets honestly more papery and hard. Minutes before we check on our bars, and then 10 minutes before we take the pork out of the pressure cooker. Things are timing out really good because then the pork can just go into this broth and simmer together on the stove while we finish up the polenta and broccolini. That was a really small tomato. This one's like chunked up already. I need to know what this chocolate yummy dessert is from Samo. I'm gonna rinse that out with a bit of water. Even put a bit more water in, but I guess there's gonna be liquid in the pressure cooker with the pork, so we'll just add that to this pot if it's not submerged enough. I made a bit of a mess with the tomatoes there. Wipe it up. Okay. Now mix this together. We're bringing this up to a simmer. Our pork is going to cook slowly in this. We got our Italian sausage. We don't need this ladle anymore. And we really destroyed the stovetop today. Impressive, Kate. Impressive indeed. is where I wish I had a electric glass burner top. Make it so easy to clean. Okay, I'm getting the pot ready for the polenta. I have to throw out the stuff that we used for the broth and then probably give it a little scrub-a-dub-dub while this is coming up. Every time you cook tomatoes, you destroy the stovetop. Is it even possible not to? That's what we can say. Probably not. And like, especially if you sear meat, and destruction at its finest. That looks yummy. Down a bit. Destroying the stovetop's your specialty, Eric? Me too. Say it a competition. Count me in. It's like fun at the same time though, let's be honest, destroying the stovetop. It is fun when stuff starts like splattering everywhere. You're like, holy shit, this is getting nuts. Imagine a Twitch competition of food and drink streamers throwing food down. Well, they did that the other year. I don't know if they have done it since at TwitchCons because I haven't been. But the last one I was at in 2022, I think, we did a competition. I had Chef Steve with me, and then there was also some other food and drink streamers around that time that we weren't really super close with. But yeah, it was like a cooking competition. It was fun. They partnered like gaming streamers with food streamers as teams, so it was a bit more challenging for everyone. I thought it was something fun and different. BB Bubs and Kanara were the judges. Well, maybe not Kanara at mine. Someone else, though, I remember. But it was Bubs. Oh, it was Mrs. Ruby. Bowl washing complete. What is our timer at here? 4 minutes? Okay, so since there's only 4 minutes left, I'm gonna turn off the pressure cooker. So boom, and then I usually take it off of the burner, even though that's quite hot still from where the oven exhaust is on that back one, so maybe I'll bring it over here. And then we'll start to let the pressure out. This will take a few moments. So then I'll put our broccolini pot back here. And then we can get our polenta pot in somewhere. This is gonna go away eventually though, so we'll have one free burner. done. So we also got to check on our Blondie Bars. Davy Jones. What would be worse, a world without onions or a world without tomatoes? I think, yeah, I would choose tomatoes because I love tomatoes so much. They're like one of my favorite snacking, I guess we'll call it a fruit since that's what it technically is, but veggie in my mind. And yeah, Eric knows. Is that because you don't like onions, Sam? Right? We can do pizza without tomatoes, but we can't do, or sorry, pizza without onions, but we can't do pizza without tomatoes. And I love so many tomatoey items. You can't even bring yourself to answer. Why not? It's too scary to imagine. Oil and garlic pizza sauce, Bianco. That is always really good too. I'm excited to see what this pork has turned into in the last hour. I think I might actually take a quick bathroom break before we go any further here. I will be back in a moment, guys. Don't go anywhere. Douchebagans, wait. Y'all inspired me to take my butt to the kitchen. Ended up making a really nice shepherd's pie. Yes. Success. We inspired you to spread the deliciousness. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I made it. The timer's going off for our bars to check so we don't forget. Does shepherd's pie mean lamb? Yeah, originally it does. Trust me, I learned the hard way on stream live. The people from the UK, they will let you know. Shepherd's pie is lamb, cottage pie is beef. But yeah, I'll take a plate. Okay, before we go any further, let's see how our baking is. Oh my gosh. It looks really good. A bit jiggly in the center still, so I'm just gonna move them. Oh, maybe I won't move them. I'll just switch it. Give it a little swivel. I'm gonna go like 5 more minutes to check those. But I really like the color on the outside that it's getting. And then we're almost done. Okay, we're done releasing the pressure in the pot here. Let's back it up. You can see all of the goodness. Take the lid off. See what we concocted. So all we did is we cut up a pork shoulder into a few different chunks, seasoned it with salt and pepper, and then pressure cooked it on high. Or sorry, seared it and then pressure cooked it on high with a bit of broth for an hour. Yeah, it is like, whoa, 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 falling apart already. So we're gonna pick this up. Don't let it fall apart too much, and we're gonna put it in the pot to soak up the rest of that flavor. Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
Look at this.
Small pieces.
These side nuggets.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This one's still a bit firm, so it's good that we're putting it in to cook a bit more, but you can see it's just pulling apart. Yummo. One more unctuous looking piece into the pot, and then what we're gonna do, magic, if we want to top it up, pour all this lovely broth into there so it can reduce together nice and clean. Holy, that is quite the cauldron now. I might skim off some of that fat layer that we just got from the pressure pot. Let's see how this cooks. But yeah, we'll let this simmer out as the rest of this finishes up. Thinking for the size of everything, we want to cook the polenta together. Yeah, that should basically fit here beside, and then we'll do the broccolini back here, like I said. Should be a-okay. So then going back again, setting this up. So this is where we're gonna make our polenta. We need some broth as well as milk to make it. It looks good, thanks. I've made this recipe before, not with the pressure cooked pork, just slowly cooking it on the stove. It usually takes around like 4 hours. But I'm trying to do it quicker today. It's so good though. Another good option if you don't want to make polenta is making it with pasta noodles. Because it's an Italian dish, so we got that option. Okay, so this says 6 servings of polenta and pork, but there's only 2 of us. So I think we'll make maybe 4 servings of this. I'm not going to make the full amount. Maybe even just half. So we'll do 1 cup of milk and then 2 cups of chicken stock. Maybe I'll ask Samo though, because sometimes leftover polenta, once you let it cool, we could like air fry it into fries. Pork lenta. Do we want extra polenta for fries?
No.
No? Do you think 3 cups of liquid will be enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we'll do a half recipe then, guys. Pell, how are you doing today? So 1 cup of milk, 2 cups of broth. We gotta grate up some cheese. Turn this pot down a little bit now. We want it to simmer but not boil necessarily. All of our yummy homemade broths from the last week. One and 2, and then some milk. Nice. Okay, that is our timer for the bars. That might be the ticket, guys. Look at how that just browned a bit more on the top. What I'm gonna do with this, I'm just gonna take the internal temp of it. I'm gonna take it out and let it rest, guys. So that's at 190 Fahrenheit. It's gonna cook a little bit more out of the oven, but we want it nice and chewy in the center still and soft, not crumbly cookie. So that is absolutely perfect. And then hopefully by the end of the stream we can have a little piece. Okay, let's keep going. And the oven's off now, so we're good to go. So one thing about making polenta is it likes to bubble up like hot lava when you get near to being done it. So I always choose quite a large pot to make it in. Just in case it does start to splash up, then it's not as likely to hit your hand or burn you. We got our liquids. This is also where you can put some like different flavorings in. So made polenta before for restaurants too. One of the things we used to do is like start with butter and some herbs and onion and garlic sauteed and then add your liquids to it. Options, but I think there's more than enough flavor in this pot back here that we don't really have to add much more than cheese. You might get a job at Walmart. Honestly, if I could get a job at Walmart, I would probably take it. I think it would be so fun. It just seems like there's always something to do there, right? Wouldn't be a boring job. Okay, and then the amount of cornmeal we need, 1.5 cups worth. So let me go grab a container. This is a 2-cup container, so we'll leave half a cup empty. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. That's what that looks like. Who in chat has had polenta before? Whether it's been the soft form like what we're making today, or it's been in the form of fries like I was talking about. Okay, there is a little bit of butter we can put into there. Just put a butter nub into the liquid. It will melt in, no problem. So delicious, Eric. Yes. And then, okay, I want to ask you, Eric, because you eat like quite a bit of vegetarian food. Have you ever eaten panisse, which is chickpea flour? Basically in the form of polenta. It's so good. Yeah, I guess grits are literally the same thing then. It's true. Good one, Paloozer. Grits is not your jam? Is it the texture of it or what? Is it a textural thing? Alright, let's get our cheese. Cheesy cheese is to grate. I also had a bit of parsley on the list, and then same with, whoa, what the hell was that? And fell. I think we have some frozen corn. Little corn nubbins to go in there. Holy, there's a whole ass bag. Good thing I looked. I'm gonna put maybe a cup of corn kernels. from the freezer. Peaches and cream. That's true. Yeah, it's a carrier for other good things. Like butter and cheese. I will definitely say grits are bland if you don't season them enough, if you don't put enough butter and cheese in. Yeah, they can taste not that good. Sometimes they're also missing special ingredient, love. I'm gonna add the corn to this so it can quickly cook as we're heating up the liquid. Now I have to get it back into here. It's okay though, I already have a Ziploc with peas. We got the sweetlets and the peaches and cream. For some reason, Gers says, I always think that grits are prepared with a looser texture than polenta. Polenta is drier. You can even fry it sometime in little cakes. Totally. Yeah, grits, I've learned that is when you make grits, you need to make it a bit looser. I mean, same with polenta though. If you serve it soft, you will see as you let it sit on the stovetop after you make it, it will soak up the liquid in no time, even if you're not cooking it anymore. So that's a good note for sure. Okay, come over here. We got our Gouda chunk to grate. We'll take our little waxy rind off. Maybe I will just cut off a chunk. They said about half a cup of Parmesan cheese. So around half a cup of grated cheese. Might do a bit more. Okay, so we gotta take that outer wax off. Gouda's so crazy. I think we gotta trim the outside of the cheese even though. It's like stuck on. Okay. It's like a massive baby bell. Grub Trek special this week was French onion mac and cheese with Gouda. I'd fox with that. I love French onion soup. Cheese? Well, I already wrapped it up. I got cheese curds though. Might put some of those in the polenta. Cheesy? That pork though. Hey! Cheese sneaker. The cheese sneaker. I was gonna say Gouda, I think, or sorry, Gruyere is the most traditional. It seems too hard. I don't know, do we use it? Gruyere is the most traditional with French onion soup, but if they did Gouda, it would be yummy still too. You would have taken the whole block, Eric? Hello, Walter Mellon. How have you been, dude? It's nice to see you and have you pop in today. Have you been doing any streams lately? You guys, Walter Mellon streams some food and drink stuff too. So give him a follow. Maybe we can get him when he's live next. They've been using Gouda as a sub for Gruyere because of cost since COVID. I could understand that. Some things are quite expensive to import. Careful with the fingies. Don't grate them. Okay, that's more like a cup and a half of cheese, not half a cup. Perfect ratio in my mind. Just gonna rinse this off. It's one of the cheeses in their 5-cheese blend. I like 5 cheese blends. Of course, Walter. Okay, there is a lot of fat on the top of that pork. I think I might skim some off before we go any further. Cheddar Gruyere, American Gorgonzola, and Parm. Holy. The Gorgonzola. Gotta add that funk. Okay, polenta, corn, and cheese. Checked off of the list. Right here is where the fat is pooling. I'm gonna take some of that off. Get a ladle, get a cup. You've used, how do you say that? Jarlsberg for French onion soup, and it's amazing. I've not eaten a lot of that cheese, but it seems popular. Where is that one from again? Is it English? Look how much fat is coming off. I love how orange it is. That's gonna be so flavorful. I don't want to get too many herbies ladled out with it though. Liquid gold right there. There's like a big pool right here. Just let the bubbles push the fat into the ladle. It's kind of funny actually. It's bubbling like a freaking volcano over here. That was actually so deceiving how much fat was on top. Look at that. It's almost a cup. A little stir around. Okay. We'll let that keep getting more tender and reducing. Jarlsberg is Norwegian. Thanks, Mish. It's sweet and nutty, so you love it with apples and cashews. I could see that being so good. I love cheese and apple snacks. Fatty fat pork, and we love the cheeses. You had to look it up Yeah, because Walter thought it was Swedish. Nice, guys. Okay, so I think we can turn on this pot for the polenta because this is basically done. We're just reducing it. This will take a little bit to heat up. So we'll do medium heat. And then same with our pot for steaming the broccolini. We can turn that on to medium. And then we just have to trim the broccolini, which we'll do next. And we'll chop up some parsley for a garnish. And then we are good to go. I looked over at the bars that came out of the oven. I'm like drooling. They look so good. You've never tasted it? I honestly can't recall if I have either. It's not really a popular cheese that people would put on like charcuterie or cheese plates here. You see pots simmering, John, and you need it? Welcome in, dude. I hope you've been A-okay. We'll do this amount, maybe one small amount more. Basically, just stuff the steamer pot full. Perfect. Are you doing some streams today, John? Whoa, it's flowering. That means it's like not the most fresh if it's flowering already. But it's kind of cute. You've been busy? Same here, dude. I feel you. We're back. We took a weekend off and went to the mountains. But we're back. Okay, so usually I just trim the ends of this. Because, yeah, the top part, there's nothing to do. It's just like a long broccoli floret. Grab bunches of it. Get it all evened up. Pick off any leaves that don't look too nice either. Trim off the bottom little bit. That doesn't look too nice anymore. And that's literally ready for the steamer pot now. And then when we put this in the pot, we'll do a little sprinkle of salt over the top of it. Because you can't season the water when you steam because it's all underneath. So it's not going to permeate the veggies that way. But I usually just do a little sprinkle of salt when they get into the steamer pot. And that works really good. I actually really like the leaves on this, so I try to leave them on if they're nice and crisp still. Get rid of that stuff. What did I say? I said we took a weekend off, but it's good to be back. What do you guys call pencils that have color? We call them pencil crayons. I had to think, 'cause it's been so long since I used them. We call them pencil crayons. Is that what they're called? Pencil crayons? Now it sounds weird when I say it, so I'm second guessing. That's what you learned about us recently? So wait, what do you guys call it? Okay, we trimmed it up. Let's get some parsley out while we're waiting for our polenta pot still. You call them colored pencils. Okay, that's what I thought. don't know why we call it pencil crayons. I have cilantro and parsley in here, so I'm just making sure I grab the right stems. There we go. You call them literally coloring pencils? So what is wrong with us? Canadians got the weird lingo. I'm just going to grab a whisk. A whisk for the polenta pot. Let's have a peek. I've seen the butter melting back here. So polenta cooks really quick. You can see we're bringing up the liquid, and then all we usually do is whisk as we pour in the cornmeal, and then it's done within like a couple minutes. For sure 10 minutes or less. I'm just gonna keep picking the parsley over here and monitoring that pot, because as soon as it's simmering, we can start to pour the cornmeal in. And also put the broccolini in the steamer pot because it's ready too. Apparently in Newfoundland, it's colored leads. Oh, because like lead pencil. What? Newfoundland has some interesting like history though. I think it's either Scottish people that went there, or Irish. That's why they have a really cool Canadian dialect. They kind of have their own language. I can't wait to go visit there. Hopefully this summer we're able to go out. Same with the Germans. Oh, that's interesting then too. Okay, it was Ireland, yeah. You follow a streamer that's a Newfie? So yeah, we call them Newfies here. Because you instantly know that they're from there as soon as you hear them talk. I know we talk a little bit funny as Canadians, but man, they're on a whole other level. And like some of the shit they say, oh my gosh, like we don't even understand them. So we had a lot of people from Newfoundland that worked up in Nunavut with us. So hearing them talk on the radio sometimes was freaking hilarious. People would be like, you need to repeat that again. I have no idea what you just said. Because in the kitchen we hear all the radio stuff. You've been napping with your earbuds? I put you to sleep? It's part of the Cook with Kate services here. What do we call that? Like what's on its head? Like, are you saying a toque? Yeah, it's a traffic cone. The first person you ever watched on Twitch? Really, Mish? That's actually cool. I've been doing so good skipping the ads today, guys. Been just enjoying chatting. No interruptions. The toque was your follow-up question. We've had this chat before on stream. Because some people from the southern states call like a hat a toboggan, like a beanie. But we have other like things that are called toboggan here. Nice. We are able to chop the parsley before doing the polenta. Okay, I'm just going to sneak it into a container and then we'll get over there and start whisking. Crushing it. Don't even mess with us today. Where does toque come from? Well, that's obviously a French word. I'm not really sure what it translates to. No, not pylon. Okay, the moment is here. A witch's hat for Australian slang, really? Okay, so before we come over here, we're gonna open up this. We got our salt over here for seasoning the broccolini. Stuff it in there. Oh, a pylon. I mean, there's different words for stuff, right? So I guess it's the first thing that comes to your mind is what you're gonna say. But I probably know it more as a cone from playing soccer. Because we'd always have those cones set up for like our soccer drills and stuff. So that's why I would call it like a traffic cone. Okay, this is simmering. We have our whisk here. There's a bit of corn, butter, milk, and stock. No salt yet. We'll salt afterwards. And then same with the cheese, always gets added at the end when we make this. So really, really steamy right now. We're gonna pour our cornmeal as we whisk so it doesn't get lumpy. And it should start to thicken like almost instantly. You'll feel it. I don't know if I'm gonna add any more cornmeal. It's already quite thick. I'm gonna stop there. Might even need more broth now. But that is seriously how fast that comes together. Can you guys even see through the steam? You're just getting a polenta facial. Do more of that. You could also do more milk too, not just broth. I'm trying to not have this get too firm on us though. I'm gonna tap out the whisk and just switch to a spoon. Hi Clem, happy Sunday. How are you doing? Is your head feeling a bit better today? The word toque comes from the French language referring to a type of hat or headgear. See? Toque. Turn this pot down now as well for the polenta. That's a pretty good consistency. Trying to get it good before I put the cheese in. I'm gonna just do a little bit more milk to keep it evened out. The headache is gone. Yes. There's nothing more annoying than that. Well, maybe there's other things, but I know how annoying headaches can be. I'm gonna give a little toss back here of this broccolini as it's steaming, so it keeps cooking nice and even. Okay, stir this in, and then we'll get our Gouda and stir that in, and then we'll taste it for our salt and pepper. We're pretty much there, guys. The pork looks like it's starting to fall apart in the pot. The tomato sauce is getting nice and reduced. Okay, so our polenta is good. It's like a corn porridge. Cheesy cheese time. You don't want to add the cheese too early because then it's going to stick to the bottom of the pot. But look at how it transforms it now. Whoa. So depending on the type of cheese you use, like we used a softer one, so it's gonna get cheese stringies. I'm gonna check on these. I don't want them to get too soft. I think they're almost there. Whoa. Okay, everything's cooked. It just needs a bunch of seasoning. Pepper. Salt. See how that is. Turn that burner off, but I'll keep the pork on. Just because those couple chunks that we put in that didn't fit in the pressure cooker. Okay, now let's see how that tastes. Whoa, it's like a cheese blanket. Can still do more salt. You love cheese, but the cheese pulls annoy you as a bearded man. I understand that actually, pal. Sam's never complained about it. I don't know how he feels about cheese pulls. What else do I have in here? Might just do like a little bit of like a Tony Satchery seasoning or something like that. A seasoning salt blend of sorts. For an extra oomph. You're not supposed to get cheese in your beard? Yeah, we thought that was like the rule, right? There, that should be yummies. Just like needed a bit extra something. Okay, let's test the pork. Is it falling apart? Yes. Okay, beautiful. All I'm gonna do, one more thing to test, is just the flavor of the broth that we made with the pork. Yum. Really nice color. Oh, wow. That's so yummy. Don't forget to change your calendars. Yes. Yep. We're on what, March 2nd already now? Okay, I honestly don't think that really needs anything else. Maybe just like a small sprinkle of salt, but even the base of that broth is really flavorful. Let's get some plates out. And then for something like this, you definitely want a rimmed serving apparatus. So whether it's a bowl or just a rimmed plate, that's gonna make it the easiest to eat. I just burned my tongue a little bit. I hate when I do that. I got too excited. Do people still use calendars outside of their phones anymore? I know some people do. The polenta looks like Gordon's scrambled eggs? No. I don't really like that style of scrambled eggs. Can we plate back here? How is this gonna be? Almost fit. I'm gonna bring the... Yeah, 'cause it's dark over there. I'll bring the pot over, and then we'll do everything else. That's the only way you cook eggs now? See, I'm more of like a fluffy scrambled egg person, not a soft scramble where it's just like soupy kind of texture. Look at that, guys. My lights have been a little bit weird, so that's why it's dark on that one corner. Let's see if I can fix it up though. So we're gonna do polenta first into the bottom of the dishes. And then everything else on top. You like both? Depends what it is. Yeah, I can't even get my lights to change. Okay, we'll just roll with it. I'm also just a picky egg person in general though, so don't count me into anything like that. It's deceiving how filling polenta is. And they even made half of the recipe and it's still almost too much. Our broccos, just simply steamed. And just a bit of salt on them, that's all. I usually just put that on the side because it's yummy to eat with the sauce that comes off of the pork. And now, fishing through the pork. Runny whites are gaggy. Yes, I agree with that. Good to have some roughage for sure. Okay, this chunk is like speaking to me. It really is. So I thought we would just kind of break it apart like that and then put this whole piece on top of the polenta like that. And then we'll spoon over some of the broth. But that's how the pork should be now. Is like literally falling apart like that. Holy. Grab a ladle. Still so much fat on top, even after we skimmed it. So see how the sauce is kind of runny? You could thicken that, like take the pork pieces out and thicken it more. Up to you. But like I said, I kind of like it spoon over like this. And you eat the sauce with the polenta and the broccolini. I'm gonna try and get not too many onions for Samo in it. Holy. That looks kind of crazy. Just some parsley. Love the color contrast. Looks delicious. Does this feed the both of us for a week? That will definitely be like 2 more meals. Drop some parsley over the top like that. Yeah, that'll for sure be 1 more meal for each of us, maybe even more. But yeah, I'm gonna turn that back on to just slowly simmer now, that pot. And then that will also help thicken the broth a bit more. Quick photo and we gotta taste it. But yeah, I usually try to cook enough on the 2 days that we stream on the weekends that there's enough leftovers for a couple meals where we don't have to always be cooking everything from scratch. But like, whoa. The way that the photo looks is amazing. That's going into the cookbook. A little bit of that color contrast sheen. Okay, let me go get the bear. Hello, bear.
Hello.
He's not really hibernating. Just a bit cozy. It's ready. Such good plating. But when you think about it, I don't even do anything special. I put a pile of polenta. I put the broccoli on the side. I plopped the pork on top and I poured a ladle of sauce.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Are you okay? It scratched you. Sam's throwing forks at his own self.
Watch out.
Hey! Yeah, that's true. It doesn't change the fact that it looks appealing. Okay, let's see if I can hold this up a bit. I want to show you guys. The cheesy polenta bite first. Mmm.
Oh, Renta. With corn.
With cornies. Okay, the next one. Chunking off that
Pork
piece
in
of
the
pork. Yeah, don't burn your mouth. I already burned my tongue. Blow it. So that was 1 hour in the pressure cooker and what, around like 30-ish minutes, 45 minutes just simmering in the sauce. That way it didn't take me 4 to 6 hours. It took me under 3. Okay, let's try this now.
Whoa.
Same with the asparagus yesterday. Slight bend. Those are so green tasting. That's good on this side. Let's get some more chunkers out. That Italian seasoning blend is seriously the best. It's the only time I've actually liked the flavor of dried rosemary with something. Nice and sweet. Samo wanted a bit extra salt. That's okay. Cooking girl, how did your weekend go? It doesn't even want to focus on it. See if we can look in the other view. I wanted to show how moist it was. Just glistening. Working on the garden beds. Exciting. It's that time of year already. Another dish cooked exactly how I was feeling like eating this weekend. I'm so happy I put this on the menu. Okay, next up I'm gonna wash my hands before we finish. We're gonna cut into some bars. That was such good bites though. Whoa. Straight nourishment. It tastes like grandma made it. Now the other veg that would be good, that's similar to broccolini, would be broccoli. Is it broccoli rabe? No, what is it? It's like a leafy veggie that looks like that. I think it's called broccoli rabe. But yeah, it's good with grilled things too. Okay, let me wipe some of these porky juices off of the board. Get our plastic cutting board. Unearth this massive pan of dessert. Yeah, it's cooled enough. It's not perfectly cooled, but whoa. We need to try it. That's the one scaramouche. It's slightly bitter. I find it pretty stringy though, usually. This is lifting out no problem. Let's do this together. Loosen the belts. We're almost there. This smells so good. Ah! Okay, I don't want it to break in half, even though it kind of just did. Try and slide it out this way. Nice. Success. Push it back together. If there's enough butter and sugar, it will seal up. So that's not greasing the pan at all. So I'm glad I didn't add any extra fat there. And then this should just slide off. It did break apart a bit. No. Hands are so buttery. grab a serrated knife. Okay, it snapped in half a bit, so I'm going to try to cut it in the right spot, because half is going to our friend. That looks perfect. Beautiful. Oh yes, it's nice and fudgy in the middle, exactly how we want it. Okay, we're cutting this side, so I'll go back over. Okay, so now I think we'll do 3 across this way again. Kind of like yesterday how we cut our Crispies. These are salted butterscotch blondies. So if you like caramel or butterscotch, you will love these. Because these are so decadent, I'll cut them into smaller chunks too. But we still did it, guys. 3 hours or less. Completed. Should we do this corner piece check? That's how they look inside. Crispy, browned butter, exterior. Looks darker than it is. I don't know why. Yum. So I'm gonna send them just in a slab to our friend, but let's pull this apart. So it is butterscotch chip. It's not white chocolate. That's how it comes apart. And then yeah, some really nice sea salt flakes on top to contrast the sweetness. Mmm. Imagine doing peanut butter chips though. That'd be so good. Now I kind of want to try that. I'll show you a middle piece too, because there's some good contrast there. Yeah, does it make it a fake blondie? No, it's still a blondie because we made that version before. There. So fudgy. That's it for me, my wonderful people. We did it. Great weekend of cookings. Oh, Sama has something to show. You finished it all. He's a pork lover man, though. He's going for the mid piece that I showed. Or he's going for both. But yeah, that's how it looks. Is Chef Steve on? That is the question. That's who we usually go raid on Sundays. He is on. We also have someone Ray making Uncrustables. What the heck is happening? What else? Whoa, it's a porky kind of sundae. Pork belly, smoked sausage, and Sunday gravy. That's the best ones yet, Samo?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go see Chef Steve like always.
My God.
Our typical Sunday crew. Are you gonna pour the water or can we shut it off for a moment? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, we'll be back next weekend for streams. I'll let you guys know the schedule because it is my birthday on Saturday. And like I said, I have some people that I want to see and do things with. So I'll let you guys know what we end up doing for stream next weekend. But we will definitely pop on for probably 2 days at least. And then stay tuned as well about our jobbies. Hopefully hear back something. Okay, I'm hitting that button. Guys, thanks for being here with us this weekend. It was fun to be back in the kitchen. And it just felt really nice to like make some yummy food for us to enjoy. The fridge was empty there for a bit. It felt weird, honestly. So we'll see what else we can come up with out of all of that goodness. I can see maybe a seafood chowder in our future with some seafood stock, but all yummy things. Okay, Discord has all the recipes, also a good place to join, talk with us outside of stream. You guys know the drill. I think that's all I got. Thanks for all of the contributions this weekend, and welcome all new followers if you found us. What you got?
Incredible.
His eyes are crazy. He's got crazy eyes from it.
Yeah.
I mean, you did eat your dinner first, though, before dessert, so good job.
Yeah.
All right. Love y'all. Let's go see Steve and have a wonderful rest of your weekend, day or night, wherever you are in the world. See you next time.